Yeah. Uncle Plug TV, we tap now. Turn that camera on, let's talk, man. Every plug got a story for me. Uncle Plug TV, we lit, no capping. Talk that game, whole city tapping. From the trap to the mic, he's snapping. Plugged in deep, that fact, no whacking. Yeah. Uncle Plug TV, that motion. Boss type talk, real life devotion. They dry hit like a potion. Whole team up, now we coasting. Came from the bottom, made it look easy. OG vibes, but the flow too breezy. Talk money moves, never move breezy. Knowledge and hustle, the combo too beastly. Camera was rolling, he speaking that truth. Been through the struggle, we showing the proof. From them late nights, grinding in the booth to the podcast. Now we voice of the youth.
Welcome back to Uncle Plug TV, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Now let's get to the show.
You hear me? Can you hear me? We in here. All right, there we go. Yeah. Had sound issues. I can't hear you, Plug.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, I can. Yeah.
Indeed. All right, we can't start off the show with no technical difficulties. We already got folks in the building already. We got Big Sco in the building. What's happening, Big Sco? What's happening with 333? 333, the best chat in the land.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we got conversation with Soft Rain. I can't hear Plug. You can hear me now? Can you hear me now? Verizon, can you hear me now? Yeah, we can hear you now. Sco say, yeah, we can hear you now. All right, today's episode, we are tapping in. As you see, the title is called Unbothered, because that's what a man should be, unbothered, when it comes to the traumas and of day-to-day life dealing with these women. We got to be strong out here, brothers. And Tez, how you feeling today, brother?
It's a decent day, man.
It's a decent day. Yeah, man. I had hit you up, man. I was on my good walk this morning, hit my 2 miles, get my 2 miles then with a little calisthenics, trying to get my mind right for the show today. It's gonna be a real busy day. It's gonna be a lot of recording today. I'm having my chops working today. And it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you could be with me this morning, man. I really appreciate you, man, from the bottom of my heart, man. So, man, as we tap into the show today, man, we deal with traumas, and most of us come from single parent households, and most mothers come from single parent households. So it's a lot of undealt with trauma, not just what the child deals with, but actually what the grandmother and the mothers have to deal with, and that trauma is passed on down the line, down the lineage, moving forward. It's like it's crazy how the youth is so in such a disarray. They seem to be so angry. Everything is so violent, and it's because there's no men around. But at the same time, being that there's no men around, it's also grandmothers and mothers who haven't had men in their lives. So they're dealing with a lot of trauma and no love in the household, no structure in the household, no discipline in the household. So they're out here being just grown children.
Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. Dealing with grown children who has not dealt with the things that most adults they can't cope with it because they don't know how. They wasn't taught because the person that was supposed to teach them wasn't taught. So they're dealing with a lot of trauma. And I got this first little video we about to tap into, brother. Gonna tap into this first video. This is a gentleman by the name of a Cycle Breaker 777. Give credit to this gentleman right here, because this was a situation where I ran across this video and I was like, boy, I know a lot of people dealing with this right here. So we finna just tap on into this video real quick, and then we're gonna share our thoughts and comments.
And they raise their motherfucking children up off love. And then if she never corrects it, she usually the one who keeps all the bullshit going in the family, because she don't. I don't know who the fuck did this, but a grandmother who grows up off no love will fuck a whole family up. Yeah, it's the grandma who fucks it up. Because then she raises her kids up off love, and then they raise their motherfucking children up off love. And then if she never corrects it, she usually the one who keeps all the bullshit going in the family, because she don't put nobody in their motherfucking place. She has a favorite, or she balances it off who does the most for her. It's always a trick to it. But a grandmother that grows up off no love and no intentions to do better will fuck a whole family up. And then they'll grow up. And then the whole family just be in shambles. Yeah. I don't know who the fuck did this.
Do I need to run that back again, bro? So you can process?
I heard him. He ain't lying.
Well, that's tough. That's super tough, bro. You know how many, grandfathers back in the day was, you know what I mean, having two families, taking care of two families, one here, one there. And we know that this happens. We know that this happens on a regular basis. But I want to get to the root of it, of why it happened. Because there was a grandmother or a mother prior to that grandfather and that grandmother getting together. They was young and dumb and just having sex. You know what I mean? Just dating one another or seeing one another, just sleeping with one another. And now a baby gets involved and they don't even know each other. Yeah. But they don't even know each other. They've been together 30, 60, 90 days at the most. We used to think that these high school relationships used to last so long. You only got 9 months of school. You only got 8 months of school.
Including boyfriends in 8 months.
You know what I mean? With all the spring break, with the Christmas vacation and Thanksgiving vacation, all the holidays and whatnot, and the new year coming in and everything. Like, there's so many things, you know what I'm saying, that play a role, and we thinking that these relationships last for so long, my brother.
Well, half the problem is I think most people aren't moving past the age of development.
They're not.
They're stuck in high school.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. And then they mess around and have a baby. Now a baby's involved. A whole nother human's involved. And you got good people, bad people giving bad advice.
And here's the thing, though. Bad advice is like candy to the fiend.
Ooh.
Bad advice is like candy to the fiend. They're going to take that bad advice and run with it as a supplement.
What if these two individuals didn't even want to be parents anyway?
They didn't.
But you got the mother and the father, the mother and the grandmother telling her, oh, you laid down to have it, you gonna have this baby. How you gonna tell the inexperience to do something that the experience have problems doing?
Well, you have to understand a couple of things here. A lot of, especially in the culture, a lot of advice is bad advice. A lot of advice is advice to ruin people. Well, I had to do it, so you're gonna have to do it too.
Yeah.
It's really bad advice. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna give them bad advice, ruin their life, and then we're gonna watch how they clean it up or not clean it up. But they're gonna get handicapped too.
Yeah. Bro, that's cold-blooded. Do you know how cold-blooded that is?
I mean,
Now,
look what happened when you was growing up. When you was growing up, you probably got tons of bad advice. Yeah, shorty, do this with shorty. And then
yeah,
you do this, shit that's gonna make her go crazy. Not knowing what you just created was a monster.
a psychopath, a
And she don't go
certified
crazy, all right.
psychopath. Yeah, you gonna teach me, you gonna give me advice on how to play on somebody's emotions and feelings
Yep.
and not be genuine. Our music and media gives us the same thing, the same advice.
All day long. And that's why it sells.
It sells. But that is, bro, this is something to unwrap, man. It's like they can go on for 4 or 5 parts, bro. You got grandmothers and mothers sitting back telling their children to have children having children. You're going to tell somebody who hasn't even reached their full potential at all to start a life, to give life to someone. You got someone who hasn't reached their full potential. She probably didn't even want to be a child. She probably didn't want to be a parent. He probably didn't want to be a parent. Now you're forcing them. You're forcing a child to be thrust into an adult situation. An adult situation, a big dog situation. These are big dog situations that we take super lightly, saying that, dog, you finna have this baby. Do you know that is a big dog? It's a lot of important decisions you make in your life. Where you're gonna go to school, where you're gonna live, what neighborhood you want to be in, the purchasing of a house, buying your first car, balancing checkbooks and finances. It's a lot of important decisions that you have to make on a regular basis that most people haven't even got a grasp of those situations, period. Like, they don't even know how to do the finances. They don't know how to build and structure a home. Now you want them to raise a human being, be responsible for a human being. They're not even responsible enough to take out trash, keep a bathroom clean, keep a home clean.
Exactly.
Even though they eating ramen noodles and cereal, they don't even know how to manage themselves properly. But at the age of a 16, 17, 18-year-old young adult, you're thrusting them into adulthood with another human being to take care of. That is about the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, dog. And you got grandmothers and mothers giving bad advice from a very traumatic situation, who's getting cheated on for the last 20 years. Who knows that cross town her husband or her significant other has a whole nother family. Everybody in the hood know. She's embarrassed as hell. So all the information that she's giving that daughter or that granddaughter is tainted.
Yeah.
It's not coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of support. It's coming from a place of trauma and survival. Who wants to have a relationship or have a child with someone who's in survival mode?
No one.
How can you properly function? How can you properly love? How can you properly manage stressful situations when you're in survival mode?
They can't.
It's absolutely impossible. And this is the way 75% of families are started.
It's actually quite despicable if you think about it.
It is absolutely, bro, positively the worst thing to do, bro. That is horrible, bro. That's why you hear me say on most of the pods where I say you got to protect the single mother. And I say this just because, bro, if you was not serious, man, don't be messing with that woman, bro. She's been through enough. I promise you. And I'm not just putting it on the modern woman or the woman of the generation before that. It's the 2 generations ahead of her. Where at 40 years old, think about it. This woman's a grandmother. to a 3-year-old.
Exactly.
And she still want to go to the club. She still ain't even lived yet. So they talking about, man, she's 40, 45. Man, she's still in the club. Bruh, she didn't even live. Bruh, she's been a mother since she was 16, 17 years old. She's been raising a child. She's been thrust in adulthood. Think about it. You talking about bodies? When we talk about bodies, that's why I say, bro, I don't even be concerned about bodies. I can't be, because she hasn't even mentally and emotionally matured yet at all. She hasn't mentally matured at all. She's been a mother since then. She ain't lived no life. No, it probably was hard as hell to make ends meet. It's probably even harder to keep a man.
It's gonna be. Like, we just have to be honest here. It's gonna be hard for a single mom to keep a man, especially if that man has any type of like status. He's gonna be like, look, I'll be the first one to say that it's difficult, because there's a whole bunch of requirements that they don't want to fulfill.
Yeah.
And it's not even about they can't fulfill them. They most certainly can. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They've been so traumatized over the years. They don't want to serve a man. They want a man to serve them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's hard work, bro. That's hard work, because they're still in that child phase of should be getting taken care of by their parents still.
Yeah.
They're still in that mindset that they still should be getting taken care of by their parents still. And this whole time being a child, you had to take care of a child. Like, we go around it and we talk about how the person is acting present day. We don't go back. We don't go back and say, like, man, this is crazy, man. Like Shawty, you've been real talk. Like, even my own mother's been a mother since 16 years old. Imagine this. I get here when she's 20. Imagine a woman who's been a mother since 16 and now is a parent of 2 kids at the age of 20 years old. Now you're a mother of 3 at 23 years old. Now, in between that first and that third child, you lose your parents. They pass away. You didn't even get an opportunity to receive the information from a grandparent or a parent who has grown into their 60s and 70s and have wisdom now. You lost your parents at the time where they're still learning how to do this thing. But you force a child that's 16 years old, 17-year-old to have this baby. And you ain't even figured out life yet. You ain't figured out life yet at all. You don't know what you doing. You 30 years old, you still don't know what you doing. Bro, that's crazy, bro. Hold on, we're gonna tap into this video real quick. I want to get your thoughts on this here real quick, brother. We're gonna tap into this video real quick. This is one of the young ladies who I love to watch. She is I really enjoy her. She in my opinion, she gives a lot of information. She gives a lot of information, and she really truly is tapped in my opinion. I feel like she's tapped in. This is Love Dorsey. The title of this is called Mother's Wounds. And you may hear this, but she's very tough on the men, but she's even tougher on the women. Like, real talk. So let's
the traumas of the mom, right? Because this Zoom is on mother wounds, and we talk about mama trauma. But before we get into our mama trauma, if you go back to the traumatic experiences of your mother, you have to understand the timeline of our history, right? And so it's great that you went back through your family history. But point number one, a lot of women, right, have sexual trauma or misguided beliefs about sex. And they end up in a space where, because of that, right, their choices, their trauma, their experiences around sex and sexuality end up being bad, right? And so from that, the feelings of guilt and shame are some of the hardest emotions to process, right? It's not that you don't feel them, but they are so difficult to process that for a lot of us as women, being, emotional by nature for all of us, but for a lot of us, when you don't have the right support system or you were violated in these areas, you end up in a space where you just run from guilt and shame. And so anything that makes you feel shameful or guilty, you put up a guard or a defense mechanism, you fight, you battle to the death, even if it means that you curse your children to not feel those feelings, to not sit with those feelings, because again, it's the processing of them that's a problem. It's not even the initial, feelings of that. So a lot of things that fast forward to us, we can't even have conversations with our moms and our grandmothers and aunts about, comes from the fact that they don't know how to process the guilt and shame that comes along with their sexual experiences, their relationship experiences, their sexuality experiences. And again, for our people, it goes all the way back to the dynamic of slavery and fast forward into us not understanding family, right? The things that were done to our culture and community through systemic racism, certain things that we're still battling with now that we don't talk about, because you cannot heal from what you can't confront and what you do not discuss and talk about so that you can process it. And so for a lot of us, when we are even talking about this part of the conversation, it's triggering because, like she said, I can look back and I can tell my mother was not sexually disciplined, but she talks a lot about discipline. Hypocrite, my mother was not sexually disciplined, right? But she talks a lot about discipline, cleaning up her house, going to school, getting good grades, me not chasing around little boys, or if I'm a boy, taking the garbage out, not worrying about these little girls, get off the game. She preaches and teaches in her ways of nurturing and caring for me and rearing me about discipline. But when I look at the family structure that we come from, shit doesn't come from discipline in the areas that it counts. Sexual discipline, financial discipline, discipline with your choices in men. So I've seen domestic violence. I've seen, like she said, a lot of kids out of wedlock. And I'm not talking about wedlock where there's healthy co-parenting situations. I'm talking about wedlock.
Bro, that's a lot to unpack, my boy. I had to stop that, bro. Do you see that? Did you hear what she said, brother? Did you hear what she said, bro? That's a lot to unpack, my brother. What's up, souls? Welcome in, baby. Yeah. Bro, sexual discipline, financial discipline, unhealed trauma. Unhealed trauma, brother. Unhealed trauma, bro. Real talk, bro. Unhealed trauma. That's crazy, bro. That's a lot, brother. That's a lot to deal, bro. That's a lot, but that's a lot to deal with, bro. And all of this is packaged into one individual that's super emotional, that's uber emotional, bro. And one even taught how to deal with these emotions, bro. Bro, this is absolutely nuts, bro. This is our culture, bro. This is our race. Not saying that it doesn't go down in Hispanic races or white races, but the focus of the day is our race. And this is crazy, bro. Like, I think about that. I think about how many women have you dealt with who are financially illiterate? Like, they feel like money is, they complain because all the money that they make go towards bills and they only have a limited amount of money to, to live life. I can't hear you, Taz.
Oh shoot! I didn't realize it had muted me.
Okay.
A lot of them come from a place where they didn't have to worry about finances. Other people took care of their finances for them, especially if they had good parents.
See that conversation with Soft Rain say, coming from a single parent home, I had to learn all of that on my own. And I understand that. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, real talk. Souls of Thought said, tell Ted to put that damn phone down. but Rain, I understand you wholeheartedly, boo. I understand you wholeheartedly, man. A lot of people had to learn this on their own. And you probably learned it later on in life. What age did you learn? What age did you learn these things? What age did you learn to efficiently, you know what I'm saying, efficiently like get your finances in a certain, like to get your hands on, to get a handle on it? How old were you?
I mean, I had to learn. I started working when I was 12.
Yeah.
You know, I started working when I was 12, and I had to manage my own money. I'm the oldest of 7. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really have a time to not be literate when it came to money.
Like most people grab financial literacy. You know what I mean? Most people grab financial literacy later on, probably in their late 20s, early 30s. Now, mind you, your parent had you, let's say 22. You're 10. She's 32. Now she's finally getting a handle on her finances. Okay, now let's reverse that.
You say she's 32, finally getting a handle on it? That's too late.
I
That's too late.
You got to think that most people like tend to grab better jobs for themselves, higher paying jobs for themselves, and probably getting a handle on it late 20s, early 30s, bro. Who wasn't taught? You had to work. You don't really have that opportunity to sit down and talk to somebody because your parent didn't know.
Yeah, it's too late, man.
It's too late. Right. Soul said Rain lived black adjacent her whole life, so her family was impacted by black families. Oh, you stupid. You stupid. Soft Rain said financial literacy 35 plus. Honestly, still learning now. Like, that's real talk.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning now, but again, that's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to think about all the things that you accomplished before the age of 35.
Yeah.
All the things, like things to set your future up forever. Now, I'm not saying that someone shouldn't get their props for learning things or get their props for finally getting it right. What I'm saying is this should not be the norm.
No, it shouldn't.
The norm shouldn't be just now figuring it out at 35.
So said, plug, a white woman was the first one to teach me. Yeah, a white man was the first one to teach me, brother. And at 25, I didn't buy great value till 25. Everything was about a label. I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro. And Soft Rain said, it's never too late, Tez.
No, it is with me. It is with me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I truly believe that we don't live in this physical body forever.
Right.
And things change. I
Right.
want the best at the best time.
Right.
It's about timing for me. You know,
but that's what you're gonna give to your children. You know what I'm saying? That knowledge that you have right now, you give to your children. And having a child in a later age, when you're getting you've gotten the grasp of what financial literacy is.
Yeah, I didn't have a child until I was 30.
Right. So you seasoned. You a seasoned vet. We talking about these mothers who are having babies at 16, 17, 18, 19 years old when they're still children themselves. And these are some of the households without the dad, with this mother who's just in survival mode. And me as a man listening, like a lot of things was told to me when I was young. Don't bring no baby in here. This, that, and the third. Blah, 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 blah. Don't do this. Don't do that. But then I think about it. Me, myself, I had put myself in a mental place to where I was unbothered. No, I don't have children now. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't have children now. They say, and no, it shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't. You saw Rain said, no, it shouldn't be the norm. Soul said, especially single mothers. Yeah.
Man, Souls is on fire right now.
Yeah, Souls is on it.
Yeah. Souls.
He said, I understand, Ted. What he said? He said, I understand, Ted. He said, once you're in your 30s, your literacy has a ceiling due to your responsibility. That's
Yeah.
real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah,
That's
you
real
got to
talk.
think. You got to think. So we talking about single parents. I'm not just gonna put it on the moms right now.
Yeah,
Let's
single
talk about
parents.
single parents.
Yeah,
So let's just say that you started out at 18 with a child.
right,
You're not going to college.
right.
You're not one of those privileged people that gets to go to like a university. We're not talking about going to JUCO or becoming a nurse. Okay, let's push that out the window. We're not
Mhm.
talking about a JUCO and going to nurse or community college and becoming, a secretary or something. We're
Yeah,
talking about a university with a high powered career on the other side of this university, right?
uh-huh.
We're talking about you're coming out and you're making 85 plus in the gate.
Right,
That's what we're talking about, especially living in a big city. You know what I mean? Especially living in a big city. So, let's say 18, you had a baby. You had a baby right at the end of high school. You still might be able to go to college. You still might be able to do a bunch of stuff, but you need to have the right family structure. But the family structure that we're talking about is you 18, you grown, get out of my house, don't bring no babies in here. Right? That's what we're talking about. We're
yeah,
talking about the average, which is get out of my house with
yeah,
your children.
yes,
I raised you.
yes,
You done.
yes,
What you choose to do now is on you.
yes.
I'm not helping you.
Ooh,
I help myself. I raised you for 18 years. Now it's my
ooh,
turn to live because she's been raising
ooh,
you since she was 16.
Lord.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. So even though she's only 36, 35, and she's still kicking you out when she's 35 because you 18 now and you could go live your life as an adult. You don't have any help. You already done had a baby. You pregnant, whatever. She pregnant, your girlfriend, whatever. You got to get out the house. You got to get a job.
Whew.
So now that you got to get a job, you got to spend 8 to 15 hours working every single day to make ends meet, especially with the rise of inflation and everything going on. If you're living in the
Right,
city or even outside the city, you're not finding rent for under $1,500 a month. We're
right.
talking about, and if you're paying $1,500 a month, you probably live in a dump. You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth.
Yeah,
You don't have any savings because you were just a child.
just a child.
You don't have a college fund because y'all wasn't rich. Y'all didn't have extra
Nope,
money. She made
nope.
your parents or single parents made ends
Mhm.
meet, right?
Right,
So once again, we're talking about the responsibilities here. So by the time that you get to 35, 36, your kid is an adult now. You think it's
mhm,
time for you to live your life. You don't have financial literacy. You want to go out and party because you're still young enough that somebody gonna look your way,
right,
but you old enough to know that you're not 22.
right. And then your imagination ain't even kicked in with your reality.
No, you're still 18 years old
Yeah,
when you had that baby.
your
You've been
your
a
imagination,
stalemate.
the things you want, and your reality of what you can afford hasn't even balanced yet. It's not even balanced. It has to be here. Like it has to be here. Soul said, do you feel black families feel giving you responsibility and getting you out the house early is because of trying to kill the modern slave mindset?
No, I feel like black families giving you responsibility and getting you out the house early so they ain't got to take care of you.
I think they want to be relieved
Exactly.
of the pressure
The
that
burden.
they've been under for the last 17, 18 years of having
The
you from the beginning.
burden.
Yes. When I asked that question, we said it on a couple of pods ago. How many people truly wanted to be parents?
Do you think that I started working at 12 because my parents wanted me to have responsibility, or you think I started working at 12 so I could feed myself?
And as sad as it is, I'm going to choose the latter. Say you so you could feed yourself, bro.
I'm once again, I'm the oldest of 7. I'm the oldest of 7. My parents were married. You know what I'm saying? I'm the oldest of 7.
So said the black slogan, be better than me. He said, my pop still tell us to come. What he say? Tell us to come back home. LOL. That's wild.
Like it's now, mind you, we had good schools. We were put in the good school system.
Right.
You know, we had the ability. Like even though we lived in the city of Chicago, not too many people know this.
Right.
But even though we lived in the city of Chicago, we went to school in the suburbs.
Right.
You know, our parents would, until we lived in the suburbs, our parents would drive us to school every single day from the city. I'm
Right.
talking about in the city.
Yeah, I
A
think
lot
that
of
was
people don't
so
know that.
situation
You
too.
know, like my mom and Classic Mom is from the same neighborhood. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know where that neighborhood even is because we don't talk about it all the time. I'm not gonna talk about it now. But I'm just saying, from the city, we were driving to the burbs so we could go to school.
Right.
And before we even lived out there, before we could afford to live out there, from the city, we were driving to the burbs. Every morning we wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. She'd get all of us dressed, and then we'd drive down to the burbs. We'd go to school.
Yeah.
So we were put in a place to have a better education because the Chicago public school system has been and still is trash.
Trash.
The
Conversation
funds are
with
not
Soft
being.
Rain says, I feel it's the responsibility of the parents to make sure the child has financial responsibility and a job security before pushing them out the door. That's agreed. That's agreed. Soul said, your kids have to want it, have to want to. I begged my daughter to stay with us until she was 25 or 30. For real. And that's commendable. That's commendable, brother. Say set them up to be great before pushing them out the door. Now that goes back to the want to. Let's
Yeah,
go back to the
that
want
goes
to.
right back to the want to.
You know, because I know it's a lot of people right now, 30 to 35 years old, say if you ask them right now, hey, if your parents say you could come back for 6 months or to a year so you could stack up some paper, would you? They'd be like, yeah, boy, I'm gone. I'm gone. Man, I say, what? I'll take that 6 months and I'll take a bill. I'm gonna take a bill because they know the responsibilities of being body slammed in the game.
Exactly.
That's called being thrust into the game where you have no choice but to go into what we said it before, survival mode. So how can a person truly love properly? How can a person really truly assess situations properly? Deal with stress assessment when you're constantly in survival mode. That's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, man.
Well, here's a problem, right? When you are stuck in survival mode, you're not trying to have no grown person in your house. Think about it. The young buck is always going to buck up.
Yeah.
The young mare is always going to kick.
Yeah. But it's all about the approach. It's all about the approach. It's all about tact. But
If
you
you're
have
in a
to learn.
survival approach.
Yeah, but you have to. When you in survival mode, what you gonna teach somebody? How to
I'm gonna teach
survive.
them how to survive.
That's it. That's all you're giving them, but you're not giving them tools.
You're not giving them
You
skills.
you say, well, you got to get out there and get a good job. Why? You got to get out there, boy. You got to make sure when you do get a good job. When you get a good job,
Here's the problem in our
save your money.
community, right? And this is the I call it the urban community, not just black people, black adjacents, pretty much anybody that's that's hovering above or under the poverty line.
Right?
It's not why. We always focus on why. We need to focus on how.
Right. But that's the question with that the child is asking the parent. You got to give directions with instructions. That sounds crazy. You say directions with instructions. Yeah. I'm telling you, directing you, you need to save your money. Okay. Right, so why am I doing that and how am I doing that? Okay. Some man told me, pay yourself. Oh, what am I paying? Well, you give the church 10%, give yourself 10%. You got to get yourself.
That's how you build a savings.
Right.
See, there's so many different ways to build a savings. And I know this is not a financial literacy conversation, but I have to throw this in there. There is so much wasted money that goes through everyone's fingertips.
Right.
And it also, you can't be ashamed. Like, for example, I have an obsession with picking up change. Obsession. I think I said this on the first time that I ever joined the show with y'all. I have an obsession with picking up change. If I see a quarter on the street, I'm picking it up. If I see a nickel on the street, I'm picking it up. I pick up pennies, dimes. It does not matter. I pick up change, and I have a change jar. The last time that I cashed out my change jar, it was $340.
Bruh, I've been picking up change since I was a youngin, bro. Like that's how I first started selling candy at school.
Yeah, just pick up change. Like
at school by picking up change. I remember in
that's not a
Walmart,
wealth thing.
you can get a little sleeve of candy bars for like I think back then it was like 97 cents. You know what I mean? So I would sell those candies for 25 cents a piece. You know what I'm saying? In a little strip, that's 10. That was 250. You know what I'm saying? Now we double up. You feel me? To this day, that's how I got my Acorn. When Acorn first came out, that's how I started doing it as an adult. Back in 2000.
Yeah, Acorn is the same way, man. Acorn drops your change, your digital change, into your. So basically, if you guys don't know about Acorn, right? The most basic way to use Acorn is anytime you make a purchase. Let's say you make a purchase and it was $5.99. Acorn then taps your account and takes that penny from that 99 and puts it in the Acorns. It's the same thing as if you have, let's say, $342.80. It's going to take that 80 cents and then drop that 80 cents into your Acorns account. The thing is, you can't watch these accounts. You have to let those accounts, same way as I watch my change. I don't watch my change jar. You have to let it build up. So, for example, at the end of the month, let's say I paid all my bills and I'm broke. And it does happen from time to time. No matter how much money you have, your primary account might end up on the low side, especially in this economy. You know, so let's say that Christmas coming around, you done paid all your bills, you done bought a bunch of gifts, so you're expending more than what you normally do from your expense accounts. You say, oh shoot, I forgot I had this change jar over here.
Yeah.
Go cash it out for $340. You just got the rest of the money you needed for the rest of the month.
Right. Now me, I had started mine. I had started mine like 2016. I was doing it and I had forgot about it. And I ain't even pay attention to it till like 2018. And I went in the account and I looked and I say, oh snap, I got this money that I ain't even know. I have completely forgot all about it. But as soon as I seen it and saw how much was in there, I started dropping more money in it. I started dropping more money with it and dropping more money on it and dropping more money on it. Just simple ways of that was an easy way. If anybody didn't know about financial literacy, and on top of that money that was going into Acorns, I already was paying myself. I was already paying myself. So it was going in two ways. I had two different ways going out. I was going to paying myself and also had the Acorn account going. Let's get to these comments real quick, bro.
All right.
Okay, this is where we at. Soul said, Rain, do you feel that way because you're a single mother and you feel it's beneficial to your son's growth as a man to possibly live that long with all women? And then he said, I love this dialogue. Then he says, plug kind of goes with my question. I feel you, bro. Says, say, yes, I feel that way, even if it's a two-parent home. I feel as though it's hindering his growth as a man because he doesn't have the male to learn from and look up to. I can't teach him how to be a man.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. It says resource. Can
I pause that one real quick?
Which one?
Go back to the last comment. Go with the one right before that.
I got you.
Yes, I would feel that way even if it's a two-parent home. I feel though it's hindering his growth as a man because he doesn't have a man to show him how to be a man. I don't know anything about this situation, but I'm going to hazard a couple of guesses here and throw out some scenarios that probably help. Get him in sports. Let him be around coaches. Let him be around other men. Put him in the Boy Scouts if you have to. Mm-hmm. Boy Scouts will also help him build a future. If you're a Boy Scout, you get a direct entry into the Air Force officer program. So that'll help him get scholarships into school. And then the Air Force will pay for his college. If he's smart, he'll make it into the Air Force Academy. On top of it, you can get a lot of other benefits, especially if you were say a Boy Scout, and then you stayed in the Boy Scouts, and then you went into school and you became a part of ROTC, and then you went to college or you went to the academy and you joined the ROTC program, they will help you pay for school and help you get the training that you need. If you enlist in the Air Force, even if you are not a combat soldier, you can pick up a lot of skills. It's the same with the Navy. It's the same with the Army, the National Guard, the Coast Guard, and yes, the Space Force. See, there's this stigma in this country that becoming more is a detrimental to your credibility. No, you need to build stability. Credibility is not as important as stability, especially in our community. What are you gonna get with cred, street cred? What you gonna buy with street cred? Nothing. That doesn't affect your credit. That doesn't affect you being able to get a gainful job and employment. Think about this: having the military on your resume and then being able to come out, even if you only did a 2-year tour of service / duty, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna pick up a whole lot of skills that you can translate into a trade or any of the trades, any of the trades, and then you can get out and get a job, and you immediately can take care of a family. Immediately. So by the time you're 20 years old, you're already a service person, you're a veteran, and you get all the benefits that you're going to get. You're going to get VA, you're going to get GI, you're going to be able to go to school, you're going to be able to go get a job, you're going to be able to buy a house with VA, without paying, exorbitant amounts or having to worry about which bank is going to give you a loan. But no, we got to do it the hard way every time. Everybody doesn't have to go to Harvard. Everybody doesn't have to go to Stanford. And just because you're not going to any of these Ivy League colleges doesn't mean that you can't get a substantial education on the government's dime without taxing your family.
That's true. That's true.
Cool. Everybody either needs to be Chris Brown or LeBron James.
that's social media. That's that social media tapping. She said, I can only do so much. I feel you, Rain. Miss V, what's up, boo? How you feeling, baby? Welcome back, man. She said, do you pick up strays? I think you were talking about picking up change. Then she say, Uncle Plug, what's going on, baby girl? I'm glad you back with us today, man. Soul said, thank you, Rain, but wanted to hear the outlook from a single mom. His whole life does not desire a 2-parent household, but I do like and respect your opinion.
Thank you, Rain.
Miss V says, I hope you all are having an amazing day. Yes, I am having an amazing day. Started off with a good workout. I'm finna go and juice me a little something, get the stimulation going, but I had to put the show together and all that good stuff. She says, I have a cute piggy bank. It says coffee fund on it. And Soft Rain said, Souls, I think I misunderstood your question. I did. But I really want to tap just a little more in if we have time. Do you have time, brother?
I got time. Let's go.
You have time? I want to tap back into a little bit more to what she was speaking on. I think it's another minute and 30 seconds of maybe.
Y'all sit around and we can tell that there is trauma around the idea of baby daddies and fathers not being in the home, but we can't talk about this stuff. We can't discuss it because mama can't process guilt and shame. Who can relate?
I can. And I'm glad you touched on the sexual part, love, because the same thing happened to my mother, and I didn't really know until it happened to me. Until before my uncle had passed away, he sent me a message letting me know it had happened to her, and it came to the point where DCF got involved, and she straight up told them that she was doing this because she upset that me and her dad is getting a divorce. And I knew nothing about a divorce. I was 11.
Right. And there's the concept, Davion, of someone teaching you off of their mistakes, right? But you're not teaching me off your mistakes if we're not even discussing the mistakes. If you are just pushing forward parenting, we never discuss the shit that has you fucked up in a lot of your ways and with your character. And it gives off, like Frank said, the perception that moms ain't wrong. Moms don't have, the moments where they lie or they mislead or they manipulate to get you on their side. But let me say this, right? And I'll let you finish your point, Davion. We deal with, from our mothers, without a doubt, it is a fact, jealousy, control issues, lack of boundaries for them and them allowing us to set boundaries as we get older with them and family. roles and lines blurred on where we start and there they begin. We deal with guilt tripping. We deal with them parental alienating and creating a space, not just with our daddies, but with other family members where we have to take their sides. It's a lot of y'all, you didn't have a choice on whose side you were on. You took mama's side because that's who was taking care of you, and that was that. And so now that you're grown, you have a warped sense of what loyalty is. You get with men and women, and because you do stuff for them, or they live in your house, or you might be the person that's running the finances, you believe they automatically are supposed to agree and do what you say and be on your side, even when you dead ass wrong. And this is why a lot of us struggle to build genuine relationships and understand
Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Ooh, wee. Like what she said at first was like, yeah, you can't even explain to me what trauma you done went through. Like you tell me that you done went through something, but you ain't tell me what you went through and how you can't even tell me how. You can't even tell me how. You can't even tell me how, like right now. Man, this is absolutely nuts, man. Dog, she hitting it. Bam, bam, bam. She hitting everything right now. Bro,
she's hitting some very key points here.
Super key points, bro. Like let's get to pack a little bit and then we finna come back to this filmmaker. This is wild.
What teamwork is. We deal with misguidance in regards to sexuality and relationships, because when mama could never quite get right a healthy relationship, a lot of things are traumatic centered around you building a healthy relationship. Black boys, when they grow into men, they struggle to be able to show up for the wives that they choose, for the women they choose to build a family with, because mama's in the business, mama gotta come to your rescue, mama never taught you certain things about setting standards, mama in competition with the new wife or the girlfriend, mama jealous of certain stuff, and like Frank said, you don't go against your mama. And so as a young man, I'm damn near beefing with my wife or my spouse over the fact that my mama don't know her fucking role, nor do I. I don't know how to set the boundary. I ain't gonna put it on mama the way I was raised, and a lot of times lack of a father or the father figures we saw around, the women ran or bossed them around. So I don't know how to set the standard. I don't know how.
I see a comment that I like from Ms. Viz She. Like, let me say this. It's very important to be with somebody who respects you. It is very important to be with somebody who bends to your leadership. And I don't mean somebody that says, show me that you're a leader and I'll follow. It does not take all of that. The thing that makes a good leader is people following them. Regardless of what type of leadership skills they actually have, the best leaders have followers. You say, oh, that person's a leader, but they have no followers. I'm gonna tell you they're not a leader. They might be a visionary. They might be an explorer. They might be a conqueror. They might be all types of things, but they're not a leader. To be a leader, you need followers. And that's just what it comes down to. If you're in a relationship and your person's not going to follow you, you're not leading them. They're probably leading you because there's always one leader and there's always a follower. Both of y'all are not leaders.
It's also leading by. Sometimes you don't have to say a lot, but you just lead by example. If you're in the house and you see I come in, what's up, boy? What's going on? How you feeling? Hey, baby, kiss your mouth. Boom, boom, boom. Go in there. You already smell it. Boom. Hit the trash. Take it out. Boom. Dump it. Come back. Hit that trash bag. Boom, 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 boom. Come back in there. Baby, get up. She go in there. Grab the boom, boom, boom. Grab your plate. Boom, boom. It can be shown. It can be shown without even saying anything. That is leadership. That is leadership. So if he didn't know, you ain't always gonna say, boy, get in here and take this trash out. Didn't I tell you to take this trash out? How about you just go in, you take the trash out. You do the things. And then if he doesn't, then you say, don't you see what I do? You know what I mean? Don't you see what I'm doing?
Yep.
Don't you see what I'm doing? Don't you see what your mother's doing? We're giving you an example. So when you hit these walls, like a lot of people tell me also when it comes to, oh, I don't argue in front of my kids. It'd be like, okay, so if you didn't argue in front of the child, right? And then in a couple of hours, they see you back loving on each other. Now he's seen the argument and conflict resolution. You know what I mean? You actually see the conflict, then you see conflict resolution. Yeah, we argued and fight, but man, that was just a moment right there, man. He said, man, Pop, y'all all right? Oh yeah, we all right, bro. We just had a little disagreement, but hey, we talked about it, you know, and now we back on the same page. We good. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But when you have somebody who's been dealing with somebody and hasn't dealt with any trauma, whatsoever, Tez, and they just living in it, they ain't doing it but passing that trauma on, bro.
That's all they doing.
They ain't doing it but passing that trauma on. All that distrust, all that, all of the, the dysfunction, the lack of financial literacy, the jealousy, the envy, like that. You just dealing with somebody who's passing that trauma on, man. They just passing it down the line to their kids, and their kids suffer behind it. They suffer behind it, bro, and it's terrible. It's terrible, bro. It's terrible, man. The foundation of all ours, what? Wait, hold on. Soul said, "Nah, children should never see your conflict. That's trauma." Then Souls, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, because now when that young man or that young lady leaves the house and they have an altercation, they're coming back to you because they say they've never seen this before. This might be their first conflict with someone else, may be traumatizing as well, because I never seen my parents do this.
I believe in showing your children conflict resolution. Like, if y'all need to have a knockdown drag out, I also believe
it should never
have a kid in
any home.
Place.
In any home, there should never be a knockdown drag out. But if we're having a disagreement and they can see that there's a disagreement, and then they can see the result of the disagreement, they know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. They know there's a light at
resolution.
Like this ain't just the end all be all.
They need to see conflict resolution.
The conflict resolution, yes, most definitely. Hold on.
Yeah, they need to see conflict resolution.
Definitely, they need to see conflict resolution. Yeah, you might have seen the start of it. Then they went and it was privately handled. Now you said, "Dang, man, hey, you heard mama yelling enough?" Or, "Dang, man, you heard daddy yelling enough?" All right, boom. Now,
and a big part is your kids need to see you loving each other.
Mm-hmm. Of course,
a lot of families don't. They've never had where they saw dad loving mom,
loving on mom.
They never
nibbling on her neck and tickling her and this and that. Yeah.
With my daughter, I make sure, and I will champion this forever. My daughter needs to see how a man treats a woman, so that she has an example of how a man treats a woman in her mind for when she becomes an adult, and so on and so forth. No one's going to treat my daughter badly. She's going to say, "Well, my dad didn't treat anybody like this, and he definitely didn't treat me like this, so I'm not going to let this dusty bastard treat me like this."
True.
I'm not going to chase this dude. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care how much money is in his pocket. I'm not going to chase him down, because this is not how you treat people. See, here's the thing. When people are dating, I know we're really short on time, but when people are dating or seeing people or have their list of demands, I like to call them, the one thing that I never ever see on this list of demands is how they treat other people.
Yeah.
Why is how somebody treats people not on your list of demands?
Yeah. And also is that question being asked?
It's never being asked. You know what's being asked? How tall is he? How big is his junk? How much money do he got?
Yeah.
What type of house do he have? What type of buying power do he have? What type of car do he drive? What places do he like to go? Do he fly out of town? Do he fly me out of town? Do he got jewelry? Do he got nice clothes? Is his hair always taken care of?
Right.
Do he wear the same hat every day? Do he wear glasses? Do he not wear glasses? Is his teeth white? Like, these are the dumbest questions when you're going to get in that man's house and all that big stuff that he got, and then he going to you across the face and say, "You do what I tell you to do." See, this is where the conflict comes in at without resolution.
Right. But taking it to the extreme of the conflict, I really like it. That's why I left Souls up there. He said a disagreement is different than conflict. I guess, yeah, you are completely correct, brother. Yes, we said conflict resolution, so we said it was a conflict, a disagreement. It's definitely different than a conflict. I agree with you wholeheartedly with that, and but that needs to be seen. That needs to be seen as well, to see that there was a disagreement, and yes, we did, resolve the issue. You know what I mean? Like, Man, we can go on, man. We gonna probably come back to this, bro, because I already know you got a lot on your chest to get off, and I love to revisit this. If it's a possibility, we might just segue this into this evening on No Middleman. Sko, to answer your question, yes, we will be doing No Middleman tonight because my boys at work right now selling Jesus chicken. And so we'll probably segue this in if we can, maybe an icebreaker, and I'll probably come back and definitely have Tez back and actually have this discussion again and unpack these things that we need to.
What time is No Middleman going live tonight?
Possibly 8:30 tonight. We'll get with Soul. With Soul's in here, he'll probably let us know. Man, there's so many comments, man. I want to get to all y'all comments, but we short on time. But man, man, I thank y'all for tuning in, man. I really want to
take a screenshot. If y'all in the chat, take a screenshot of the chat, and then I'm gonna say a lot of these will probably come right back up on No Middleman tonight.
Right, man. Yeah,
because I definitely think that Souls is putting some good stuff out there. Soft Rain is putting stuff out there. Sko is putting stuff out there. Miss V put some stuff out there. I mean, this is great.
I wanted to say this because the other night we was on and Souls was talking about how he listens to the words that are being used. So
yes,
I thought in my and I truly was thinking about how things are being said, how things are being
said. That's a huge point.
Right.
Because we talked about that on the phone last night. It's for example, if you say something to somebody and they say, so what you saying is they're remixing what you talking about.
And I ain't need no remix. You ain't him, and you ain't Jermaine Dupri.
You know what I'm saying? They did in everything that you just put out there. It's like, and that's when you stop and be like, look, no disrespect, but I said what I said, and I meant it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if y'all want to stay with us, we probably read a couple more of these. But if y'all want to stay with us, I have a special guest on the Tez Down this afternoon in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I have a special guest today. It's going to be Uncle Plug. Y'all can come on. We are doing. So this kind of ties in a little bit. We are doing True Crime Monday for the first time in a couple of weeks. The Casey Anthony story.
That was right in my backyard, bro. That was right in my backyard.
We are doing the plight of the single mother. So y'all tap in with the Tez Down. We're going to be on there in the next few minutes. It is Casey Anthony's story, the plight of the single mother. The plight of the single mother. That's what we're doing today.
So, and we're gonna find out if any of these parents wanted to be parents in the first place. So I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. I really appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much, man. We will see you later on this evening when we're finna see you in a few minutes, and then I'll see you later on this evening. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, man. Yes, thank you, Souls, man. Appreciate you, brother. Most definitely, man. So we'll see y'all in a few, man. Hey, and as always feel blessed to be plugged in.